Now it's time for some interesting news from Silver Doctors. Um, Jim Rogers. I was just reading this. I said I gotta do a video on this one. I have not known that Jim Rogers was basically partners with George Soros in the 1970s, both of whom made tons of money. So this makes me very interested to know about anything Jim Rogers has to say. So when I see a title like $68 trillion biblical crash, dead ahead, Jim Rogers issues a dire warning from silverdoctors.com, I think I want to read that to you. A little bedtime story, if you will. Jason at 4. I'll tuck you in for some doom. A $68 trillion biblical collapse is poised to wipe out millions of Americans. This is actually submitted by Jeff Berwick, which is the dollar vigilante guy, who's got a pretty interesting track record himself. He says, last year we were the first financial site to explain how the Shemitah 7-year cycle would have an important and disastrous effect on the markets. The Shemitah ended, and in the third quarter of last year, and just as we predicted, it was the worst quarter in worldwide stock markets since the last Shemitah in 2008. I will also add it was a terrible first month or two of 2016, the next quarter. Since then, we have been the leader in explaining further Shemitah trends embedded in the once every 49-year Jubilee year. The Jubilee year ends on October 2nd of this year, and we expect even worse events to occur as October approaches. Now, the famous investor, Jim Rogers, has just released a new warning saying the same thing. He is even using biblical references to warn of a financial tsunami that could take place either this year or next. He has just said a 68 trillion biblical collapse is poised to wipe out millions of Americans. Jim Rogers co-founded the Quantum Fund with George Soros in the early 1970s. The fund generated returns of 4,200% over 10 years and made fortunes for both men. Soros and Rogers have worked together for so long, probably both have access to information the regular person doesn't. Soros, we know he does for sure. Soros recently was in the news for shorting the stock market and making gold bullion his largest held asset and predicting an impending crisis. Once again, guys like George Soros do not make mistakes. Billionaires. Now, just this week, Jim Rogers has said the same and was quite outspoken about how it was written in the Bible. He referred to a biblical quote from the book of Joshua. You are under a curse now. You will always be servants. You will be woodcutters and water carriers for the house of my God. The amount of people predicting an imminent collapse is getting larger and larger, especially considering that it was less than a year ago that we were almost alone in talking about it. Carl Icahn, Stanley Druckenmiller, and Soros himself, to name a few, have now come to similar conclusions. Each of these individuals has placed significant funds in gold and gold-related securities. Soros has gone so far as to actively short the stock market. Their messages are similar to Rogers, who sees economic turmoil descending that will actually bankrupt whole nations. Rogers believes the situation is much worse than 2008. Let me stop there for a second. We know that that's the case. Why? Because then we had $9 trillion in debt. Now we have $19 trillion in debt. Then we had 25 million people on food stamps. Now we have almost 50 million people on food stamps. Then we had more people working. Now we have a lot less people working. And now we have huge healthcare bills to deal with, which is draining the citizenry like, squeezing blood from a turnip. And I can get into a whole lot of other reasons, but no need to do that now. It's not. You don't need me to preach on that because you already know that. Rogers believes the situation is much more worse in 2008 when major economies had dollar resources in reserve. Those countries like China and Japan have spent down much of their reserves. Thus, it won't just be the US or Europe that suffers from the next wave of market insolvency. This time, the entire world is going to be relatively helpless. There are not going to be patches of prosperity as in 2008. He predicts that the UK will collapse, while countries like Italy will face bankruptcy. Keeping in mind, Webbot said, watch out for the Italian banking failure, or bank failure. And that kind of came out of nowhere. I wasn't from the previous reports. I didn't know why that came out all of a sudden, but it was in there. And since then, I've actually heard a few stories more pointing to some Italian banking problems. He has pointed out that stock market breadth began to contract in the middle of 2014 and has not ceased. This calls for the only remedy that Wall Street knows: additional money printing. But right now, the Fed is trying to move in the opposite direction, toward tightening. What central bank officials see as recovery, however, is merely the result of artificial money printing and debt expansion. The looming disaster that is about to hit is imminent because in the U.S., recoveries don't last more than 7 years at the outside. Rogers' perception that the upcoming catastrophe has a historical/biblical element reminds us of statements by a top executive for the International Bank for Settlements, William White. For a minute, I thought they were going to talk about that lady, was it Andrea or something or another? We quoted him here as follows, quote, "The only question is whether we are able to look reality in the eye and face what is coming in an orderly fashion, or whether it will be disorderly. Debt jubilees have been going on for 5,000 years, as far back as the Sumerians. The next task awaiting the global authorities is how to manage debt write-offs, and therefore a massive reordering of winners and losers in society without setting off a political storm." End quote. Well, I don't think there's any orderly way to deal with this crap. It has to come out, and it's going to be, because if the club does it orderly or not, again, there's winners and losers. It's going to be disorderly for the people no matter what. Rogers has stated that $68 trillion could be wiped off the earth, as we would tend to agree. This is the end of the monetary system as we know it. It will result in life as we know it changing forever. And it's all been planned. If you haven't seen our video exposing the elite Jubilee strategy to completely reorder the world, perhaps as soon as this coming October, you should see it immediately, and you can see it here. And I will link this video for you. There is probably not much more time to prepare, given what is now being predicted by billionaires and investment gurus alike. If you aren't ready now, it may be soon too late. We've already made massive gains for subscribers by seeing things ahead of the crowd. We'll likely make even bigger ones in the future. That's important because we're going to need all the resources we can get when things get really bad. Surviving a biblical collapse is not going to be easy for anyone. There is no roadmap for something like this, but we've been ahead of the curve in figuring out what is coming. We've been ahead of the curve in coming up with innovative ideas, information, and solutions to help you protect yourself and your family. You can get access to all our resources, information, and advice by subscribing to the Dollar Vigilante newsletter. I was actually subscribed there for a little while, and some of what I had access to was some of his junior minors and some of the big boys also, what their positions were. I was kind of watching that a few months back, which is why I commented back, I think, in December about that. He says, "I've been called crazy more than anyone I've ever known or even heard about. I was called crazy for saying the internet would revolutionize the world in 1993, before most even knew what it was. I was called crazy for quitting my job at a bank to start an internet company in 1994 that rose to a high of $240 million. I was called crazy for saying the U.S. housing market would collapse in 2005. I was called crazy for starting the Dollar Vigilante in 2010, predicting a US dollar and worldwide fiat currency collapse within a decade, now the fastest growing financial newsletter in the world. I was called crazy for saying Bitcoin would change how money operates when it was $3 in 2011 and it is currently at $450. He did say that. I was called crazy last summer when I said we are incredibly close to outright collapse of a scope never before seen. So now George Soros, Jim Rogers, Stanley Druckenmiller, Carl Icahn, and the Bank for International Settlements, William White, are just as crazy as me. Or maybe we aren't crazy at all, he says. He's not. He's absolutely right. This is why I've been doing these videos. This is why I continue to do these videos. I see my little stats. Matter of fact, Social Blade. I'm gonna just give you an idea. This is why I do these videos. YouTube, JSNIP4. Average users gained per day, according to Social Blade. This last 15 days was actually pretty good. My daily averages of new subscribers is 41. The funny thing is there's some big YouTubers out there that get like 22, 23, 24, 25,000 new subscribers every single day. Of course, those are garbage entertainment, poisoning your head channels. When we're facing an economic collapse coming to a world near you, no one seems to really care about, just keep the music playing. But when I see that 41, which it fluctuates, but I'm actually usually in the 20s, to be honest with you, per day. When I see that, these are new subscribers, I always tell myself, this is someone who may have just found your channel, obviously they did, and actually subscribed. You said something that caught their attention and they clicked the subscribe button. They want to know more, they liked what you were saying, or they didn't know what the hell you were saying, but it sparked something in their mind and now they want to know more. And I realized, I've been doing this since, late 2009. But there's so much more to talk about in 2016 because things are speeding up. There's, like I said, I used to be able to do 1 or 2 videos a week, then one every couple days. I've decided I'm just going to do 2 per day, Monday through Friday, and recently I've been doing stuff on Saturday as well. There's just so much out there happening. Rapid fire, another thing. It just keeps coming. So I enjoy educating people. And I'll end this video by saying, for all you new people over the last couple months or so, I know you probably get aggravated at those advertisements that play. I do apologize for that, but the way Google works, anyone that puts videos up, whatever advertisements play, they actually let you keep 55% and they keep 45% of revenue. So many of you know I've been doing this, which is why these ads are there, but a lot of new people don't know that. So I just want to tell you that that's why they're there. It's a way for me to make some additional money, to be, or to give you a good example of what I'm about to do with some of that money. I've seen 3 doctors, surgeons look at my foot. The first one, the damn MRI came back and said, possible cyst, this size in this location, it's in the MRI. My doctor, I think it's a foot neuroma. We're going to go in and cut out the nerve. Okay, but I thought we were going in to do exploratory surgery. That's what you said. So when I wake up, yeah, we just went in and cut the nerve out. Did you see anything in there? Honestly, no, I didn't really see anything, but I just went and cut the nerve out anyways. Okay. Pain in my foot never went away, as if nothing happened. Great. Except now my foot's a little bit numb. So I didn't have insurance, paid, $2,500 somewhere around there to get that done. Well, we could do another surgery. We'll go back in there. Say the same, have to pay out of pocket for that again? Oh yeah, of course. My mind says, well, hold on, you didn't fix it the first time. You didn't do what we agreed upon the first time, which was go in and do exploratory surgery because it could be a cyst, but it might be a foot neuroma. In either case, you should see when you get in there. Never mind. American Doctor. Never mind. So I feel like I live with it. Put some shoe inserts. Nothing seems to work. Sometimes it's alleviated, whatever. So recently, as of last year, you know what? I'm going to get health insurance so that in 2016, I'm going to go in as soon as I can, look at my foot, another MRI, bang, bang, bang. Now, let's do a surgery. Let's go back in there. And matter of fact, they don't even take the GMO. They only take PPO plans. I don't have an HMO, so good thing because I don't want to see her anyways. Can you refer someone? Oh, I know 2 good doctors. Okay. Go to one of them. Pretty arrogant. Doesn't care what I'm really saying. You sure it's not coming from your back? Because you know your spine, the nerves come back from there. Doctor, I injured my foot in 2009. Imagine someone sticking a thorn in your foot and leaving it there. That's how sure I am it's coming from my foot. Yeah, but you said sometimes you feel it go up your leg and into your left buttocks. Yeah, on a bad day, it radiates all around that foot area. It hurts. And then, yes, it does go up my leg as in the feeling, not necessarily the pain. Yeah, I think we need to have you do some nerve tests. Okay, but I have an MRI that shows there's something there. I mean, can you like maybe just amputate this little piece? Oh, no, we don't amputate anything. Oh, no, cannot do that. I don't know any doctor who would ever do that. Okay. What about going back in there? Well, we don't want to do another surgery. We really don't. Once you have one surgery, we don't want to go back in there. What should I do? I mean, well, do these nerve tests. I go do the nerve test. Get to that doctor. He's busy as can be. I made an appointment, of course. I'm there on time. Get in there. The girl does all the nerve tests and muscle tests, or the nerve tests. And okay, it's all done. I'll have the doctor come in here. All your nerves are fine. Yeah, I knew that. Doctor comes in. He's complaining to the girl. We're too busy. We got too many patients. I can't see all these people. Why do they keep doing this to us? He's like venting right in front of me. So is his mind on this poor patient? Let me really do a thorough checking. Or is his mind, I got to get in the next one. That's where his mind was. Yeah, I don't see anything here. We'll go ahead and fax these to your doctor, and everything checked out fine. I was like, well, hold on a second. Why do you think I can't wiggle my pinky toe? Because that's, if this is my pinky toe, this is kind of where it hurts in between. I said, when the injury happened, I couldn't wiggle it. Since then, I've had the surgery, which she cut out my nerve, whatever. Can't wiggle it then, and I still can't wiggle it today. Oh, okay, well. In that case, let me do a couple of muscle tests on the side of your, all right, wiggle your toe. Okay, yeah, I think maybe you have some muscle damage down there. Okay, I'll send this back to your doctor. And I'm thinking, what is that going to do? That my doctor pretty much said they don't want to do another surgery. They don't want. So now what? I'm not even going to call him back. The other one. I'm going to go find another doctor. Oh, there's one right down the street from me. Schedule an appointment. Go down there. Yep, $25 visit. Copay today, sir. Yeah, no problem. Got insurance now, right? Yeah, here you go. Looking over my MRIs, looking over the notes. Yeah. My sister, she's got a foot injury too, similar like what you have. She's had 3 surgeries, and nothing can fix it for her. So, once you have one surgery, because what happens is the scar tissue comes back, it develops and can kind of get in the way. And then when you cut again, more comes in there, and you have to trying to cut the scar tissue out, but then more comes back. And we don't really like doing surgeries after you've already had one. I said, yeah, but it's saying it could be a cyst, and if it's a cyst, and my original doctor never went in with the intention to cut out the cyst, didn't even look for the cyst. And he says, well, to be honest, you probably couldn't even see the thing. It's probably so small. And it says on the chart, how big it was. So I said, well, how small is this thing if you can't see it? So he draws it on with a pen and paper. It's smaller than a pea, but not much smaller than a pea from what he drew. That's pretty damn big to be in my foot, for God's sakes. In all of my MRIs, I've had 3. Yep, this whatever, this possible cyst is still there. Next MRI, it's still there. Next MRI, it's still there. Hasn't moved, it's still there. It should be simple, no-brainer. Cut in there, X marks the spot, cut the damn thing out. So this doctor, so I asked the whole amputation. Can we just like cut my toe off? And no, can't do that. No. I mean, what about surgery? Yeah, we don't want to go. You said you've already done all the shots, the alcohol injection and the cortisone. Yes, I have. I had to do that right off the bat. Okay, yeah. Only thing I might be able to advise is have you done the B12 shots yet? B12 injections? Like B12 vitamins? Right. Shots on my foot? Yeah. No. Yeah, well, we could do that. Like today, if I wanted. Yeah, we got that here. I think I'll pass. Let me put this little thing under your shoe, a little insert, and see if that helps. My original doctor did that. Same thing. Okay, go ahead and put it in there. Go back to work. My foot's already aggravating me even worse. Now that he put this thing in my foot, take the damn thing out, throw it away. Okay. Bingo. Where'd your wife go? My wife went to Mexico years ago. Like 10 years ago now, almost. Lesions in her brain. She had MRIs. The doctor then, you don't have MS. You don't have MS. Stop. We're not doing an MRI. You do not have MS. She says, I'm paying for this anyways. Can you just get me prescribed to go get an MRI? I'm paying for it myself. Okay, fine if you want it. She goes and gets it. 2 lesions in the brain. Doctor's looking at it. Can't believe what he's seeing. Back of the chart over here. Oh my God, I can't believe that shit. Oh my gosh. Well, that's right, doctor. You're a freaking moron. My wife, I want to do the stem cell therapy. I've spoken to people that have done it, that have had severe case of MS and have recovered significantly. No problem. Get on a plane and go over there. Boom. Goes on the plane. Was there for a few days. Comes back. Symptoms have been gone for almost 10 years now. She had an MRI very recently. Nothing has changed. The lesions that were there, the ones like completely gone, and there was a little tiny one that just barely shows up. Nothing has changed. In a good way. So she went there because the other day I was asking her about her vision. She was having a headache, and I said, maybe you don't wear your glasses anymore. Why don't you put your glasses on? She goes, I haven't had to wear my glasses in a long time. My vision's gotten better. I said, how the hell does your vision get better? When you have bad eyes, you have bad eyes. The doctor told me a side effect of doing the stem cell therapy is that your eyes can get better if you have blurry vision or, you need glasses or whatever. So I'm thinking to myself, only side effects I ever heard when I turn on the TV may cause premature death, may cause, burning in your kidneys, may cause you to spit up blood or vomit. I've never heard anything that said side effect may cause your eyesight to get better. And you don't have to eat carrots. Ooh. So I decided with my wife, time to take some vacation days in the near future and head down to Mexico. Doctor, I've got this thing in my foot. You got a surgeon? Yes, we do. Come on down. We're going to take care of you. Oh, you're not going to tell me you can't cut. You're worried about the prior surgery. You don't want to give me some B12? B12? No B12? Okay. No. Get on the plane. So in my mind now, hold on a minute. I finally went out and forked over some bucks to pay monthly for stupid health insurance, specifically to deal with this problem once and for all, telling myself, well, I can get a surgery done. If it doesn't fix it and there's something else, I got a whole year to do stuff and try to get this thing solved. And I'm still having to go to Mexico and pay out of pocket to get this done. As George Bush said to the lady that had to work 3 jobs, the old lady, truly American, truly American. So the whole point of me telling you this is that this YouTube money from my video ads just found a fantastic way to be spent. You guys have essentially paid for my surgery by watching my videos every day, every month, every week. And I want to thank you for that. Take care.